can rest when we've killed them all. Keep fighting.
Testing new speed stream. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Welcome to test. Yeah, so basically why I'm testing at the moment, it looks like here in Australia, we sadly our Prime Minister, it's called the National Broadband Network, NBN. Now, sadly our Prime Minister, who's like the President, he's elected leader of our country, he originally was a... Yes. Unfortunately, this was talked about 8-10 years ago, and basically what the government's gotten involved is to build a national broadband network. Now, funny enough, back in 2000, so that's 17 years ago, well, getting close to 18 years ago, our biggest monstrous telecommunication company called Telstra could have built a high-speed 100 megabit download cable network covering about 85% of the population 18 years ago. Now, and they would have done it for about $8 billion back then. Now, what the fuck? Can't a man have a conversation? Yeah, so 18 odd years ago. And but the catch was they wanted to build the network and sell it and use it for themselves. So everything, so the government said, computer says no, and wouldn't let them do it. So between 2000 and 2005-ish, they sort of pushed and, because it's politics and it's government, it's all a lot of hoo-ha. So the government kept knocking it on its head and said, look, if you're going to build it, you're going to have to share it. So what the Telstra, our big telecommunication company, did is they built a huge 4G network. They called it the Next G network. I think it went online 2006, 7, something like that. 8, just in timing for the iPhone to come into the market. And the laws under building mobile networks meant that because of the infrastructure and costs and all the other stuff involved, that they could build huge mobile networks and not share it with, or be forced to wholesale it at prices dictated by the government. So they were more than happy to wholesale the cable network, but at their prices. But the government would intervene and charge far less. So there was no interest in. It's like, I guess, you're going to build a big home, and as soon as you build a home of a certain size, your council says, okay, you've got to put in an extra 3 rooms, and then you've got to rent the rooms out to, druggos or something, I don't know. And that's the last thing anyone wants to do, if you know what I mean. So they built a huge mobile network, and it was the dominant network, and it still is today. The rest of the guys have all caught up now. But, so effectively, for about $10 billion, you could have had a mobile and cable network. 10, 15 years ago, high speed, all the rest of it. But the government got involved and all the rest of it. Anyway, the National Broadband Network came a political issue, and who was going to win. Labor wanted to have this high-speed cable coax connection, which is going to cost a hell of a lot of money. And our Prime Minister, who is now Prime Minister now, Malcolm Turnbull, he wanted to build a cheaper version. So it would be in areas where I am, which is where there's cable, you'd use that infrastructure, and for everyone else, they would build, fibre to the node and connected by copper wire and all the rest of it. And people will never get the same sort of speeds, but everyone's going to get all different speeds, no matter what. It's not going to be the same. And instead of costing $30 billion, it's cost $55 billion, and it's a fucking shithole. But it looks like the short version of all this is the NBN is now all around me, and all are basically private ISPs are all going to wholesale off this government one, this NBN. So they're pretty much just ditching all their plans and all going on to this huge new infrastructure, and they're just basically becoming resellers. So it looks like as of this morning they're testing upgrading my system because at the moment I'm downloading 115 meg, and they capped my upload speed at about 2.5 or something. So it was about 1 and a bit, now it's up to 2.5. So the NBN plans, that'll go up to about 40 or 50 meg upload speed, which will mean I can stream, live stream at 1080 and all the rest of it. So which is good. But I just wanted to test just a slight speed increase, and it's when I look back on it, it looks pretty clear on the. I'm just testing if I dropped any. So I've got no drop frames. I'm running at 60 frame rates, and I'm uploading at 1950 kb/s, the 1.9 meg. So I just wanted to test that all out. Oh, actually, I thought I was looking at the game. It was actually the stream. That looks good. Yeah. So, and basically, our Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull was a merchant banker. He bought tons of shares. He's worth $250 million or something personally. He's a bit of a. I think he's really removed from the real person's life. Like he's I don't know his complete upbringing, but he was a lawyer and merchant banker and all the rest of it, and he bought shares in an internet company called Aussie Mail, which ended up getting bought out for a lot of money by some of the bigger players, and this again made him wealthy again. So this somehow made him the expert on the internet for the Liberal Party. So when the Liberal Party was coming up with a strategy to beat the Labor Party over the NBN because everyone wanted the NBN, they all turned to him, and he goes, No, people don't need that exact speed. So it'd be like sort of arguing back in the day when was it 56k modems, and jumping from that to a cable network, Our Prime Minister back then, Tony Abbott, said people don't need those speeds. What are they just going to download videos faster? The thing is, can you imagine that if we had that Prime Minister back 20 years ago or 10 years ago, and we were still stuck in the dark ages for speed? The amount of money people are making off doing YouTube videos, e-commerce, all the rest of it. The higher the speed you got, the better. There is a point where speed sort of loses its sort of thing. So to me, 50 down, 50 up, that's more than enough to keep people out, I reckon, for the next 5 years. If it gets faster, all good. But for live streaming, you need very good upload speeds, and most Australians, a large percentage of Australians are capped. And I personally, I do work from home a lot. I have a business, and I have toyed with the idea on getting a commercial product in, and I've just went, nah. I'm not paying that sort of money. But then again, if I was doing this for a full living, I'd probably, it'd be worth it. But it looks like over this next 1 to 2 months, this area will be full NBN, and just means we can do better streaming and all the rest of it. But I just want to stream a bit more. That all looks good to me. Twisted Destiny, one of my old guilds I used to be involved in. I am a Horde player. It's just that I've fucked myself because I originally let me just. I've stuffed myself because originally I am a Horde player on the server. Created a Death Knight on the servers within Nagran, sort of merged with the servers so I could play the Alliance AH versus the Horde AH when they used to be separated. And my main character from day one, since 2008, May of 2008 I think it was, is this fella, Orc Warlock. And so for raiding, everything like that, and the guilds I was in, I always up-leveled this bloke. And then everything else was an alt. And my second major alt has always been my, where is he? Pally. I was a main battle tank and all the rest of it for a raiding guild, just to save the guild. But, you know, every time I was in a raid, all I could think about was, what about my poor Warlock? Why can't I get a run? But, so, and I made this guy as a, what do you call it? The werewolf mob, what do you call them? I forget what they're called. And, oh, it seems to be taking a bit to load. Yeah, so, and I created this, ended up raiding more on the Alliance side with a top 30 raid guild for the server. And then I got on to make 2 million gold, and it means, I've double checked, I can only take 250 cash over with me onto the Horde side. Unless I buy something, I think I'll buy the spider mount. I don't know if I can buy the spider mount and swap over and then sell it back and get 2 million gold back. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. If you know, or you're watching this and you've been there, done that. Otherwise, I would transfer over to the Horde, back to Horde. Ideally, that's what I would like to do. Go back to Horde. But as I say, beggars can't be choosers.
The weave of your life comes to...
We identified an area crucial to getting our troops to the front lines.
Bow to the will of Sargeras.
I need to get closer.
You are no match
Oh,
for
just
our power. The
just
light
got my
smites our foes.
just got my dots on it. Jesus.
You are no match for our power.
You're saying that to eggs, mate. Just calm down.
Almost too easy.
I don't have a target.
Wow, the eggs spawn fast here.
Our power cannot be matched.
Nowhere to hide now!
Our power grew.
Haven't got any drop frames whatsoever, which is good. Christ, I'm not sure what I'll do with myself. The only thing I've got left to do in my life is have kids.
The Black Harvest.
I get if I get high, like 30, 40 being upload speed, that's it. Life's set. Got the woman, property, business. Bloody hell! Just gotta win Gold Lotto.
You scorched the hovels of those Legion pests and cleared the way for our troops. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Who the hell is Vagra?
Legion artificers are reckless, and I have found a weakness in their ordnance.
Are you serious, Spider? The fuck? Oh, thanks, mate. Oh, Rainbow, thanks, mate. Shit. Yes, no, my brother's actually just become a father for the 4th time. He hasn't mucked around. He's the breeder of the family now. Oh, that was accidental. I didn't even know that bloke was down here. Oh, Jesus, what? Well, I've got a lot of these eggs now. Oh, Ranif. I'm already under pressure from my other half to have babies and pop them out. I'm surprised I haven't turned around one day and she's gone, congratulations! Because that does tend to happen to some people, but no, my brother has had number 4. Oh, number 4's on the way anyway. Never would have put him down as a breeder. Just for context, my younger brother, he is the every family's probably got one of these. You might know, or you might know someone like this. They're ridiculously good-looking in comparison to the rest of their family, and we do, there is jokes about who the real mother and father is, but I forget how good-looking my younger brother is. And when I took him to meet my other half's family, and all, she has 3 other sisters, and they're all ridiculously good-looking themselves. The very first thing they said is he walked into the room, and I was standing next to the 3rd eldest sister. She was, the first thing she just said was, "Oh my God, your brother is so good looking." And I remember just looking at my brother thinking, "What?" and looking back at her, and she was staring at him like he was a block of hot chocolate, and she was staring at him and looking at me and staring at him, trying to work out. I said, yes, we definitely are brothers. It's been DNA tested. And then I thought, hang on, this is a bad sign. So I just grabbed him and got the hell out of there. But I do forget how good looking my brother is. But what I'm trying to say is, he married early, popped babies out early. He does have probably some regrets, and probably would like to have done a lot of travelling I did, and who knows what could have happened to him then. But let's say he's that ridiculously good looking, he could be at least a part-time model. And I would make a good nose model. But anyway, that's just the before and after shot. His nose is running our family. We. All good, mate. Yep. No, look, I hear you. I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. Completely, utterly understand it. Yes, I don't think, I got to be honest, and I don't want to run my brother down, but he didn't have much choice in the kids. Let me just say he met a scrupulous woman who, well, she's not scrupulous, she's just madly in love with him, and before he knew it, he was married and 3 kids. So, oh, good lord.
I need to get closer.
That was the worst try to get shit out of a chest I've ever seen in my life. Yes, no, you don't have to get married to have a great life either. Look, I did a lot of travelling, and it was very hard because I did meet some really good women, and they all want to get married and settle down, but you know, when you're on the other side of the world, and you're from the other side of the world, I got some interesting stories. Let's just say that. But no, I'm actually shocked my brother ended up becoming as stable as he did, and married and babies and all the rest of it. You know, so he's done well. The rest of his life's locked up, but he's done well. Anyway, enough talking from me. Just wanted to test the stream quality. Yeah, someone's got that chest. Whip. No, I hear what you're saying, mate. I do, what the hell's going on with this stupid... I completely understand where you're coming from. I have, female friends that are in their 40s and 50s, and they've been very successful in their life, you know, but they've never married and had kids, and I think everyone reaches a point, you know, I think it's us animals, male or female, we're all very bloody, you know, you always sometimes want what you don't have because you think it'll make you happier, or you want it because you don't have it, and I think there are a lot of females reaching their 40s, you know, 40 through to 50s, and they're very successful. They got the property, the house, and all that sort of stuff, and they do want to have kids and settle down. And the problem is, I think once you hit 42, I don't think it's possible to naturally conceive or something. I'm not sure the exact age. I'm sure there's a point. So there is, you know, unfortunately for women, there is that age limit that does. And I think the young, for both male and female, I think the younger you are trying to have kids, the lower chance if there's any like problems. Yes, because you're perceived as perceived as having more wealth, mate. What do you think? All those young women, they will chase after you, and they think, oh, this bloke's older, he's more established, I'm going to jump all over him. Trust me, I've lived in the inner city parts of Sydney where there are a lot of high earning women, like in medical professions and legal, and I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. All I know is, you know, I think I have had at least 100% guaranteed offer as a house husband, and I remember just thinking, wow, okay, that's a good offer, and then I thought in my head going, this is a trap. No matter what I think this is going to be, this is a trap. This is not going to be what I think it is. So, but it's all fun and games. Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, the demon's out of the water. What the fuck? Hang on, I'm just going to dismiss him. Still my head in. Piss off. Shit. Apparently they're going to get rid of Argus Waystones from what I've seen. Or someone told me when I logged in. Alright, we'll do that. I'll drop off stream. Oh, don't you stay there, stay there. Yeah, no, I've seen all that. I've seen all that. It's definitely.
To cripple the Legion's offensive, we need to take out their infrastructure. Strike a blow for Azeroth.
There is a difference if you are dating women that are 10 years younger than you. There is. If we're gonna get, if we're gonna have that discussion. Oh, get off that rock. Physically, yes, it's fantastic. Yes, great sex and all the rest of it. Not going to argue there. But there usually when there's a 10, well, you know, if you're 20 and you're 30, there can be differences in maturity and age, due to age too as well. So something that mightn't work out as a relationship, but it might be a very good sexual relationship. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. So I understand where you're coming from. I did when I was traveling. Met like a lot of 18 to 21-year-old girls that are European, and you wouldn't think they were 20 years old because they were traveling the world on their own, no fear. But more power to you if you can, if that'll keep you happy. What the hell is? My only question, mate. What happens when that 20-year-old says she wants to have kids?
A glorious blast! The lights and bats will not be stopped.
Wow, fair enough. Pump and dump. But what about true love, mate? See, the problem with us males is males are very logical animals, and if they're getting well fed in the belly, relationship sexually, you tend to just think everything's all good. And then before you know it, you've got 2 kids, you're married. Yes, no, look, there's plenty of fish out in the sea, yes, yes. Unfortunately, my other half, she's Australian, but her heritage is Polish, so they're all Eastern European, they're all ridiculously good looking and incredible work ethic, and if I was to pump and dump her, I think I'd wake up half missing parts of my anatomy and half the property on fire or something like that. And she's 6 foot. She's built like an Amazonic warrior woman. She is a. I've always wanted a woman with a bit of fire and passion, and yeah, she's certainly got more than I bargained for. She's very fiery. I can only see what's going to happen when she gets older. It's going to be interesting. Probably for me, it's going to be interesting. Let's just say that.
Kill you. Take your things.
But though her younger sister's 20, I would just, all right, we'll stop the conversation there. I'm just going to get myself in trouble.
Feel the power of the Black Harvest.
Well, let me just say, I know several stories of that happening, what you just said. Actually, I'll tell you a story, and you could probably, this would probably dot everything you've ever worried about. So, I have a close friend, and her sister, well, she's, 28? She met her boyfriend, well, husband, sorry, when they were like 16 to 18. They were together from 18 through to, say, the early 20s. I'm not sure exactly what age. They got married. He ran his own sort of trucking business. He's a bit of a rougher on the edges bloke. You know, to me, he's like, I honestly don't give a shit. She was a big girl, about 130 kilos, but very good looking, and they ended up married for about 8 years. And then what found out towards the end of the marriage is that I think he's making about 20-30 grand a month in this business, this trucking business. He had a big contract with a big mining company, whatever it was. And he, the last 3 years of the relationship, he just started buying everything. You know, $6,000 gold bracelets, necklaces, throwing all this money, taking her on cruises, and all the rest of it. And sort of all that stuff. And she then got on this program to shed a lot of weight. I think she lost about 50 kilos in 12 months. And then she's got herself, and she was good looking, and then she got physically into shape. So she was she was absolutely stunning. It was like, holy Jesus. And they've been together, you know, married, I get 8 years, been together over 10. And what came out towards the end of the relationship is that for the last 3 years, they hadn't had any sex. She wanted to get out of the relationship, and he said, look, I'll make everything come true for you, because he absolutely loved her. He absolutely was just God-smacked in love with her. He bought her a house, bought all the stuff, leased a top range 4-drive, several $1,000s just spent on the tyres and mags alone. You know, he was doing all the stuff, but the truth was she had fallen out of love with him or whatever it was, but she stayed because he offered to buy all these things. And the sad thing is, I was the MC at the wedding of that particular girl's younger sister, whose best mate was marrying her younger sister, and his best mate was her husband. And that's when all the news sort of come out, and I was like, oh my God. And in the end, the deal that she worked out was stay in the marriage. Or she didn't want to stay in the marriage. She wanted out. They negotiated to split everything 50-50. When they paid off everything, both of them would be left with 15 grand worth of debt each to pay off. But then her older sister negotiated a deal where she gets to keep the lease 4-wheel drive. He pays for everything the next 7 years, and that he gives her 50 grand cash, and he gets everything else. And of course, it's a mountain of debt and he went on to suicide watch, and I think he ended up crashing his truck or something like that. But she was happy in the end. She walked away with a new car, 50 grand in cash, no debts, and then she walked straight into a mining, a guy working in the mines, and who was earning about 160,000 a year, and he just swept her off her feet, and he was only 5 foot nothing, and she's nearly 6 foot, and let's just say that there's a lot more there, but I'm just not going to go into it because I'd probably say something and give away names and stuff, but yeah, no, I've seen the bad side, and then I have seen the good side where people have gotten together, and they've got married, they've improved each other, they've bought houses, they've built business together, they've had great kids, they've had a great life, and so I've seen that really good stuff, and there's been plenty of examples of the bad, and that's probably one of the bad. So it's not. Take it as it comes, mate. Take it as it comes. You got to have a hobby. Only question is, how many 20-year-olds have you dated? If you're 30 plus.
Kill you! Take your things!
Be on your guard. A threat looms, thirsty for mortal blood.
Oh Jesus, these are all elites. Oh fuck. Oh God, well, I think I'm gonna die here. Oh, just saying, if you're 30 plus, have you dated many 20-year-old girls? That's all I was saying. I was just wondering how your experience has been. If you've oh shit. Okay. Get up here, tank, get up here, tank, get up here. Good. Jesus Christ, I almost got okay. Fair enough.
A decisive victory. I expected no less of you.
I think that bloke likes me sometimes. What's his name? Flying Demon Man. Alright, beautiful. Oh, if I can. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I think well, I think it's because they're probably more established, mate. I think that's what it is.
Kronakai Crystal. Fight well, traveler.
Oh, why didn't that Titan Forge to 990 or something? That would have been good.
It's not ready yet. I can't use that item yet.
Oh. Set a champion's item level to 900. Okay. I'm on a 900 already, but... Where'd that come from? Interesting. I'm just going to swap to my highest damaging spec. Jesus Christ, I'm getting mixed up with the streams because the quality's so streaming well. Okay. Yeah, we'll look at Ren mates. I think it varies from where you're from. I grew up in a very remote place. It was a mining town, and once you get to 18, from 18 to 30, 35, I think, it was like 10-to-1 ratio of men to women. And when I hit 18, I was going to the pubs there, and there were guys in their 20s or 30s fighting other guys or trying to beat up other blokes to steal the women. And I remember a bloke crapping on about, I earn $100,000 a year, and I own my house, and got the car, and there was just not many women. And yes, our girls in grade 11 and 12, which would have been 16 and 17. I had a car in grade 11 and 12, so I was one of the different guys. There was only probably about 4 or 5 of us that had cars back then. A couple of girls did too, but our joke was all the apprentices from the mines would hit on all the 16 to 17-year-old girls. So these guys are 18 to 22, earning, well, in today's money, probably about $80,000 a year or $90,000 a year, or God knows what. Apprentice can earn 80 to 100,000 a year, Australian, in the mining industry, in whatever trade, depending on the trade they're doing. And most of them had cars, had their own, living in their own rented place or property or whatever. And our joke was, we'd sit there and we'd walk up to the girls in our grade 12 and go, "Hi, how you going? Want to go out with me?" And meanwhile, there's this 18 or 19-year-old guy with a car, a couple of $1,000s in his wallet. Yeah, so I know where you're coming from. Yes, no, if you get back on the WoW, the grasp was up to 80%. I think 70. I think it was originally 80%, and then dropped it to 70%, and then they've taken it down to 25. But they then increased all the damage, everything else they upped all the damage. I think 20% on everything, 25%. So all the base damage went up. So the spec I was just running, which is a dot spec. What was I doing? So I was just running with this one, and so casting Drain Soul, it's just more for healing. The damage, there's still damages, but it's not that efficient. You're getting extra agonies on that stacks up to 15. That used to be 20, and that goes up. That's permanent. Corruption becomes permanent. You do an extra 25% damage. Sow Seeds for just multiple AoE, which has been the weakness of Affliction for a couple of expansions. I remember playing this back, Wrath of the Lich King, and being in the Naxxramas and just blowing everything up with AoE. But for a couple of expansions, they took AoE away from the Affliction Warlock, so don't ask me. But technically, on a Sims, normally I would run... If I was doing a Mythic Dungeon, I would probably run a combination of... between this and that, depending on... And also what happens too is I've got this legendary, so every time I cast a UA on a target that doesn't have it, I've got a 25% chance for it to refund my soul shards, and then you throw in the soul conduit. So technically within one cast I could have 2 soul shards coming back as well. Yeah, so 75 down to 25, yep. And I thought it was 70, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It still was a drop. So they nerfed that, but they buffed everything else to a degree, so the damage sort of evened out. But on simming, this is probably my most damaging spec. Demon Skin, normally if it was a mythic or raiding, I just have Burning Rush, so for the, all 3 are viable, but your Burning Rush or Dark Pack if you want to be defensive. Demon Skin really is just for the demons. Just if I don't have Demon Skin on, the demon just drops so fast it's not funny. And Siphon Life gives me more damage, but less shards. So, what's this work? 800k. How much damage does 18 seconds? 15 seconds. Yeah, so that's quite a boost in damage. I'll just run with that one because I just want to go into Macri or whatever you want to call it, Macri or Mackay.
I am afraid our continued presence on Makari.
Macari, that's it. That's how you pronounce it. Wasn't that lucky?
This will be your undoing.
This shattered place behind. Perhaps then.
Why is it
Every time my follower turns into that demon, it just mocks me for demonology. You bastard. Alright, that's all I wanted to get. I just was hoping that would Titan Forge into 900. Before I head off, I'm going to go out for afternoon lunch at the pub. 2 more of those, and I'll buy the helm and jack it up to 935. Cost me 100 grand or so. But that'll be a slight buff, so I'll have the pants and the helm. Buy the helm off the AH. I think it's made by Jewel Crafters. Anyway, I'm going to head off. Ren, thanks for your wise words of wisdom in the real world about the ladies. I'll keep you honest. And anyone else, thanks for tuning in. Again, I was just testing the speed, the stream, running at just 720 HD with 60 frames per second. And I just wanted to see, because my cable dropped out this morning, so my upload speed has probably gone up by about 30%, but in the next month or so it'll jump up to 40 odd megabytes. Currently I'm downloading around about 100 to 115, but that's when I get connected to the NBN. But I think from what I saw this morning, and speed testing, my natural speed has gone up. So I'm just going to see if I could actually access those planes early, because that'd be fantastic if I could. It means I could stream at 1080p, and at 60 frames per second if I'm going to upload at 40, which would be great, which just means the quality of a stream is... Because I'm actually struggling, I'm swapping between my streaming software, YouTube, and the game, and it's... When I'm alt-tabbing, I can't tell the difference because the quality is almost the same, which is, you know, good, which is good. But anyway, I'm going to do a dash. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, be good to your mum.